Welcome back to Purchase Presents.
My name is Eve Alphonse.
And I'm Haley Gunning. We've got a great show in store for our second episode.
We're here to keep you in the loop about what's going on here at Purchase. Take it away, Haley.
In this episode, we'll continue to bring you coverage on both the academic and creative pursuits of the campus at large, including our Durst Distinguished Lecture Series, the Adopted Dancer Sponsorship Program, our Princess Grace Award recipient, film senior Melanie Rosette, and a look at the Musical Theater Club here at Purchase.
Our first piece in today's program gives us a glimpse into a very important series on our campus. Every semester at Purchase College, students are provided with the rare opportunity to sit in on discussions with artists that have expertise in a variety of subjects.
At the Durst Distinguished Lectures, authors, journalists, screenwriters, and playwrights share their experiences, successes, and advice with eager audience members. In our first piece, we look at why the series is so special and how the Purchase students and the local community can benefit from these unique opportunities.
The Durst series was started by a donation from the Durst family, who really wanted to see Purchase as a place where artists, and in particular writers of an exceptional quality, could come to campus and share their talents with the campus community. The lectures are chosen by an interdisciplinary committee of faculty that includes faculty from creative writing, from literature, from journalism, and it's headed by a remarkable literature professor, Tony Domestico, who has some incredible knack for choosing and recommending writers who are just about to win prizes.
We try to figure out what writers would work in concert with one another, how we can craft a program for the year that, again, will expose our students to different genres, different styles, and I think we've done a good job of including various kinds of diversity.
We try and think about diversity in terms of genre, in terms of who these people are, what they represent, and what they can mean to our students.
Steve had been on the phone with Louisa talking about the baby, about diapers and formula. On this day, the wind was just right.
There's always a correlation between the Durst lecturers coming and the classes that are being offered at Purchase College. It draws more students when, say, you have a book you're reading in class and then you get to see the author actually afterwards, especially for like literature classes and creative writing classes. That is like one of the most inspiring things ever.
I think what's great about the literature major is that we are a literature department and not an English department. So that allows us to focus on literature that just isn't written in the English language. It allows us to be truly multicultural, to really be global. And I think the Durst series opens up the college to everybody.
This year's Durst Distinguished Chair is Edwige Danticat. She is a world-renowned Haitian-American author, and we're particularly pleased to have her this year because Purchase is hosting a festival centered around Haiti, and we're thrilled that she is taking part. We're particularly thrilled that she gave permission to Purchase theater students to produce her play called Bastille Day, which I believe she actually wrote while she was in college. It had never been produced before, and it was amazing to see this happen on our campus.
Claudia Rankin was the Roy and Shirley Durst Distinguished Chair in Literature a few years ago, and a number of students had read and loved and been moved by her book, Citizen, and then a series of students were actually able to work with Claudia on putting together an audiovisual presentation about their own experiences of whiteness. So being able to encounter writers in their kind of full particularity and actually establish meaningful relationships with writers is again an incredible gift that the Durst program has offered our students.
I think precisely because we're a small liberal arts college, this has meant that students who never would have had access to artists like this now have access. And not only can they attend large lectures, but they meet with them in small groups.
I got to sit in on like a more intimate Q&A with Khalifa. That was really cool to be in a setting with like 10 other students and him. I felt valued in that situation.
The Durst series has enabled students to meet in person and interact with lots of different kinds of writers, but it also has enabled more kind of lasting collaborations between some faculty members and writers.
I feel that we get as much of an education as the students do. It's good for the college, it raises our profile, it raises our prestige, and I think it's also good for the authors themselves. They get to come to campus and engage with students and probably reconnect with what it was like for them when they were college students, when they were studying literature. And I think it's one of those rare things that allows everybody to win.
Last year's Roy and Shirley Durst Distinguished Chair in Literature, Kevin Young, is the director of the Schomburg, and he has been in conversation with us about students serving as interns at the Schomburg. So one of the things that has started happening over the last year or so, and I hope will continue to happen in the future, is not just enabling meaningful interactions between students and faculty and writers of incredible prominence when the writers are on campus, but establishing relationships that bear fruit in the years to come.
Next up, we'll be taking a look at what Purchase students do on their time off to keep the creativity rolling. Did you know that there's a musical theater club here on campus? We'll be taking a look at their Halloween cabaret. By catching a small glimpse into what a month-long rehearsal process, we'll get a behind-the-scenes look at this special one-time performance.
Haley, did you know I always wanted to be an actor?
Really?
Yeah, but my mommy told me I have a face for radio. That wasn't nice, but look at me now.
Okay, Eve. Let's go on to our next piece on the musical theater club at Purchase.
Science fiction, double feature, Dr. X will build a creature, see androids.
So I'm directing this year's Halloween-themed cabaret. It has been quite the experience. It's been a lot of fun. It's phenomenal. I've been able to help vocally certain performers, helping them singing, helping them with blocking, and just being able to work on these songs again in a capacity of like a pre-professional musical theater program.
Should we just go for it, same spot? Sing once again with me.
Musical theater club is quite a lot of fun. We don't really get the opportunity to do much musical theater-oriented performances or anything of that sort at this school. So what's nice is that musical theater club really opens up that opportunity to be able to perform in the capacity that I want to.
When I first came here, I was auditioning for a musical that was on campus. And as I was doing that, I was like, oh, you guys must be doing like musicals all the time here. And they're like, well, that's not really true. Like, you know, like I was told that there was at one point a different musical theater club that was on campus that was discontinued. Once I heard that, I was kind of bummed that this was like a rare occasion for the campus and that a lot of students were unhappy with the lack of musical theater representation and, you know, the opportunity to be in a musical theater production, especially since a lot of them are coming just fresh out of high school and they're like eager to get back on board with that type of stuff. And they're like, oh man, I can't really do it because nobody's putting them up outside of just the occasional senior project. A second semester, a friend of mine suggested that, you know, let's get a couple friends together and let's see if we can bring the club back, do what the old club did essentially, and make it so that even after we do graduate, the club can continue so that students can have as many opportunities as is necessary for them to be involved with some sort of musical theater production on campus, really.
I tried out for musical theater club because I originally come from a musical theater background, and so musical theater is like kind of my thing, but I haven't really been able to do a lot of musical theater on campus. So hearing about the cabaret, I know a lot of the people that are in it, that run it on the e-board, and so I was like, let me see. Let me do my best. Thankfully, I got in, and I'm very excited. I haven't sung in a very long time in front of a lot of people, so it's a good way for me to kind of get out of my weird performance funk. I think musical theater club is so important is because it is just another space amongst so many others on campus that really allow you to be an artist and be who you are with people that can really become life impacting.
The cabarets, I think, getting to perform as much as possible is a delight. So getting to do this and hear a bunch of other people perform and sound really great, it's a good time. It lets me embrace what I like to do for fun. For a lot of people in the club, they want to do this seriously, and I would like to do it seriously, but I'm also training to do something else, and to have a nice relief from all the stress that I have and just to get to sing and just do it plainly for fun is great.
My favorite part was that we all each got to do our own songs, but it all kind of came together as one theme. And I thought it was really funny and entertaining, and it gave people something to watch. Musical Theater Club is very accepting and very loving, and you just feel very comfortable with the people. So I think that's really helpful if you want to get better and learn from others. It's really a great place to do that.
It goes off Sam, right? I think it's really nice and nostalgic for a lot of kids that grew up with musical theater to get back to that kind of pure, unadulterated joy that musical theater can kind of give. So I was really, really interested in, first of all, getting involved, because it's the best way to meet people on campus, but to create something new and to give people an outlet for just being happy.
Open spaces, Disney World, I'll go there twice. Hey, Katie, how you like me now?
From this club in particular, I've taken away being able to get better, being able to improve, because there are so many little things that I've improved within my own number and that we've improved within our ensemble number.
In case you're keeping score, Katie may have won the battle, but I will win the war for. I wanna watch the world burn.
Well, the club's open to everybody. That's one of our founding principles in our charter is anybody, everybody can join. Although we are technically a club, a lot of the events we put on are audition-based, so it would be something like that. I'd say if you want to join Musical Theater Club and get into our shows, I say it's a great way to make friends. It's how I've made a lot of my friends. I know some of our cast members, especially some freshmen this year. Sophia was telling me that she met a lot of great people, a lot of good friends. So, it's right in the beginning of somebody's freshman year, so it's great like that.
We would love to see some musicals come to Musical Theater Club. We haven't had the opportunity to put on a musical in a while, and we think it's really important to be able to deliver these modes of theater that we really want to send to our audience. So we're very much looking forward to putting on some full-fledged musicals here. Probably in the future as well, we will see a few more cabarets pop up here and there. Again, we really just want to create a welcoming and open environment for everybody who wants to explore the world of musical theater and deliver stories through such ways.
In the back row.
Musical Theater Club is energetic,
super duper cool,
creative, joy,
loving,
worth it.
The second annual They're Here Global Festival, dedicated to opening a space for dialogue between people and cultures from around the world, was recently held on campus. This 3-day festival included lectures, performances, film screenings, and art at various venues across the campus. Let's take a closer look at this important festival.
The They're Here Global Festival of Arts, Culture, and Ideas is meant to have two different components. One is what the public sees. It's 3 days of, as we call it, arts, culture, and ideas. It's deeply interdisciplinary, just like Purchase is interdisciplinary. So this year, the festival was devoted to Haiti. So the public events showcased what we believe are some of the most interesting minds, artists, activists that we know of that either are from Haiti or have Haitian roots and are here in the US. So we had a keynote speech by Edwidge Dantica, the celebrated author who has Haitian roots and lives in the United States. She also moderated a panel discussion that we called New Storytellers with really interesting, courageous young journalists. We also had a musical group called Chouk Bois, which is a rah-rah, roots, Vodou inflected band who closed out the festival on Saturday night. We had a tribute by Purchase College students, including the Purchase Orchestra and also the Conservatory of Dance students who participated along with one of the foremost Haitian American composers and violists, Rudy Perot, to create an entire program of music that we might normally understand to be American, but in fact has Haitian and Caribbean roots. So classical music by Louis Gottschalk, jazz by Jelly Roll Morton, and much more. Engels the artist was the featured artist chosen by Neuberger Museum curator Patrice Giasson. And what was really exciting about Engels the artist and his exhibition and his residency, because he spent several weeks here on campus making new work leading up to the festival, is that we were able to publish a monograph of his works, and it's the first that he's had in his career. And I think this is the largest scale show that he's ever had, so that's really exciting for Engels. But it also gave the Purchase community and the larger community an opportunity to rethink art that we might normally not associate as Haitian, because he's an abstract artist. And so it looks different and feels different than what we might normally associate with Haitian or Haitian American art. And at the same time, one of the things that we did that I think helps us to further our goal to make as dynamic and interactive an experience as possible for students and for the community is that we brought elements from his studio in Brooklyn here to the college. And so an entire room of the Neuberger was basically remade into his studio. And so museum goers, including students, could move around him as he was working, and he was there. He was so generous with his time, and he was there the whole time we had these two events featuring his work over the course of the festival weekend. And people could walk around with him and basically have a tour by him and also by Patrice Giasson, the curator of the Neuberger, and learn all about this art in a very individualized and interactive way. So that was really exciting. And then also we had the comic book illustrator and artist, Tony Louis. He has created a female superhero called Tanema, and this female superhero represents the small enterprise farmers. And so he's created a comic book that tells her adventures in saving the planet through her environmental and her farming endeavors. And because he's a colorblind artist, he had students from the School of Art and Design help him color in the work. So what they did is to spend a week taking about 6 pages each to help him finish the coloring of the work. And so this comic book is going to be widely distributed and will have been colored by Purchase College students. With this festival, we're always trying to connect what we normally understand as here and there and understand them as embedded in one another. That's why we have the textual metaphor there, here, that grounds the entire festival itself, because we want to break that binary. We believe it's a false binary. Whatever is here is always already in relation to what's happening there. And the same is true vice versa. And so it's a way of helping to bring together and closer different parts of the world without erasing really important differences. One of the organizing themes around which we programmed this year is a phrase in Creole, which is Anu Pale Haiti, and it's on the back of every t-shirt that you saw that participants were wearing over the course of the weekend, and it means let's talk Haiti. And the reason we chose that phrase is because we considered this entire festival to be an invitation to dialogue between us and Haitians, dialogue between Haitians who come together during the festival, the Haitian diaspora. And so it could be understood as let's talk Haiti, let's talk about Haiti, or let's talk, Haiti. So, but the idea is to be open to dialogue and mostly to learn by listening, not by imposing ideas, but really by listening and talking.
Up next is our spotlight on award-winning student filmmaker Melanie Rosette, who is a graduating member of the BFA film program this year and the recipient of the Princess Grace Award for Filmmaking for her short film, Princesa. Melanie will tell us about her experience at Purchase, the culture of collaborative art on campus, and give advice to anyone hoping to follow the path she's forging.
I think that the program in general really pushes personal storytelling and very intimate storytelling. I remember my freshman workshop class was some of the best, not only film lessons, but life lessons I've gotten. A lot of them I carry with me to this day. I remember the best lesson I got was just to be really sensitive to life and to gain ideas that way, and sensitive to the people you meet, and just walking down the street and picking up on ideas here and there. And I think a lot of people in my program emulate that in their work. I was here for my interview and I met Danny Kang, and he tried to persuade me and the people I was with to not come to the school, because he does that sometimes, in the way that he just tries to scare you. He says, is this really what you want to do? Do you really want to commit your 4 years to being here? And then he put us in 39 in our famous classroom, and he showed us a film that a senior had made recently at that time, and I fell in love with it. It was so beautiful. It was personal and intimate, and I knew right off the bat that that was the kind of filmmaking I wanted to make. To get into the film program, it's actually very difficult to get in. There's about 200 to 300, even up to 400 people that have applied, and they only accept 30. And it requires a portfolio that's consists of up to 10 pieces of your artwork. And it doesn't have to be filmmaking. I think that's like a really important thing people need to know, is that you don't need to have made films in high school or whatever to apply to this program. You could have done photography or poetry or even illustration, things of that sort. Not only do you get to direct, you get to assistant direct and DP and edit and all of these different roles on set that you get to practice. And then your junior year and your senior year, you slow down and you make a thesis film. And you spend the whole year on this one film. Review is something that happens at the end of every year, where we go into a small screening-like room and we show our final films for all of the professors we had that year. And it's really intimidating, and it's just an hour dedicated to you, and you sit in front of them and they critique your film for an hour, and you can't defend it, you can't make excuses. They just lay it out there, and they also talk about you, and they talk about your presence in class and your strengths and what you can work on. And it's like a parent-teacher conference, but your parents aren't there, and it's about your art, so it's really, really terrifying. But it's so rewarding because it's just about you for a whole hour, just to reflect on your growth. So in specifics to the Princess Grace Award, that foundation is basically every film program in any film school across the country. The school itself has to nominate a rising senior. So when I was a junior and we were cutting our junior thesis films, a couple of students in my year were spoken to by our professor saying that we were up for nomination and that we had to submit a cut and it was going to be reviewed by the film board and all that stuff. And my film was selected, which already was a huge honor. And I was competing with the best film schools in the country, and I had no thought that I would get it. Also, I was competing with graduate students, so I really didn't think. I thought it was just practice for me to get the grant. But I got an honorary award, and I'm in their family, their award, which is amazing. And I've been given so many incredible opportunities. I was at a luncheon recently for the foundation where the director of Crazy Rich Asians was there, and we just got to talk to him. And I just submitted a application to go to the Cannes Festival in Monaco. So we'll see if I might not get it, but the fact that I even presented these things is incredible. I remember my second week of class, I felt like I was a better filmmaker already of my freshman year. And I think since then, I've always made very personal work. I was just never embarrassed to kind of put a lot of my personal work and emotions into my work. Those stories completely need to be told by no one other than yourself. And it's a responsibility, but it's a huge honor. And filmmaking is one of the most beautiful, inclusive art forms, I think, in the way that it is such a collaboration of all of these different mediums. And why would you not take advantage of that? Even if you're scared, like fail so many times and do it 100 times over. But it's so important to make work, especially from places of different backgrounds and stuff like that.
Did you know that some of our dance majors get adopted while studying at our Conservatory of Dance? Purchase College has one of the finest conservatories of dance in the nation. To help with the cost of following their passion, Purchase College has joined with some generous members of the community to help create the Adopt a Dancer program.
In our next piece, Eve talks with the director of our Conservatory of Dance, Nelly Vaughan Bommel, and Naoki Yogi, a sophomore in the conservatory who is an Adopt a Dancer program scholarship recipient.
Can you explain to me what the Adopt a Dancer program is?
Yes, so the Adopt a Dancer program is a scholarship program. But it's not any scholarship program. It's a program that creates a profound connection between donors and highly talented students in financial need.
So, and these donors donate to the students for their school and programs and stuff like that?
Recently, we've had new donors who are alumni. Historically, this program, I think, was founded probably in the mid-'80s. By a wonderful woman named Pat Jacobs. And Pat created this program alongside the Dean of Dance of the time, Carol Walker, was able to find donors who were not only interested in donating scholarships to students, but donors who were truly passionate and caring about students' ability to get a degree, continue their studies, and to follow their dreams of becoming a professional dancers. So those were a very special group of donors who were in love with dance and wanted to support young talents.
When and how did you decide you wanted to pursue dance?
I think the biggest factor was when dance became more than 50% of my lifestyle. It was eat, sleep, commute, dance. I was commuting more than 3 hours a day to go to school and then go to after school practice for dance, and it was just became a lifestyle, and that's just how I knew I wanted to pursue it for the rest of my life.
How often does the program run and for how long?
So usually students are selected in their sophomore year, right, and stay in the program for 3 years, right, until graduation. So the donors are really truly supporting them throughout their education at Purchase College.
So do the dancers ever meet and interact with the donors?
Absolutely. So that's what's unique about the program, is that it really creates connection between the donors and the students. So through an annual luncheon, through invitation to the students' performances, the donors are able to really get to know the student. I would say in most of the cases, the relationships that are formed through that program are lifelong relationships. We have students who are part of the program back in the 90s that are still in touch, with their donors now as professionals. I mean, it's really, when I say unique, it's really unique.
That's great. They get to watch someone grow.
Exactly.
It was amazing because at the Adopt a Dancer luncheon, there was a lot of Adopt a Dancer alumni that came back, and one of the adoptive parents knew them for longer than 10 years. She started off at Purchase College, and now she's dancing professionally with Kyle, and it's amazing how the trajectory of getting to know your parents and the time and the amount of dedication and connection they build with their parents.
Why Purchase College?
It feels like a community. All the teachers are very supportive. There's a perfect balance of technique, so you have your ballet and your modern and your contemporary, and then we bring in teachers from outside in the New York area that come to teach master classes, and everything's just perfect. And composition, I really like choreographing, so that's another thing that learning to make pieces and getting to work with upperclassmen, which is another thing that's really awesome, is you're not just isolated with your class. You get to mix and mingle with upperclassmen and people outside of your class to work with and learn from and grow.
So I know that you're a sophomore here at Purchase, and this is your first semester trying out the Adopt a Dancer program. How has it changed your experience here as a student?
Well, first off, I got to meet all the adopted donor parents at this luncheon, and it was amazing to hear about their experiences and the connections they build with their donors is amazing. I feel like the program is just gonna help me take another step into my future in dance, and it's just there for me. Another thing that I don't have to think about is financial barriers, and it's really cool that this program exists.
So Nelly, where do you see the future of this program going?
Well, I really, really hope that the program could grow. We've had for so many years an amazing, pool of donors. I would love new donors to join, of course. And some very exciting news is that we have a new chair as of last year. Her name is Mandy Salva-Kirchner. She's an alum from the program who had a prestigious career with several companies and choreographers throughout the US. And she came back to help developing the program more and making the program a little bit more known. So our goal is really to have, more students supported by more donors. So that's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
I think what's amazing about her is she's one of those examples where it's giving back to the dance community. So she got the support in the beginning, and now she's one of those people that's giving back to all the support she received.
Yeah. In some way, this program is also a mentorship program, right? She's a mentor now to her Adopt a Dancer. She adopted a junior that is currently abroad. Her name is Caleb Doden. And I know that for this new chair, it's been just an amazing, opportunity to develop a relationship with that student. And so she's talking to all of her friends about it. And hopefully some of them will join and support the program.
Let's say someone wanted to join this program. How would they do it? Who do they contact?
They could contact the dance office. They could contact me, 914-251-6800. That's the dance office number. And I will gladly explain to them, what are the requirements to be part of that wonderful program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's our program for today.
If there's anything on campus that you'd like to see featured on the show, drop us a comment.
And be sure to subscribe to keep up with all the newest events and programs here on campus. Have a great holiday and see you next month.
We'll see you next time.